Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the season wrap ups. We have a very special guest on today who's actually already been on the podcast before. It's none other than new WNBF men's physique pro, Qais Butt. Qais, how are you doing? You all right?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. After hearing that WNBF Pro get a lot better, mate. It still doesn't feel real when you say that, or people say you're a WNBF Pro. So yeah, mate. As a
Yeah.
whole, really, really good.
How is it sinking in? How's like pro life feeling so far?
Pro life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad to be fair. It's a bit of a weird one. Like obviously the fact that like I've become a pro is it's really cool. It's really really cool. It's obviously a goal that I've had for a very long time. Um, so in that sense, it's been wicked. Just in terms of the nice words that I've got from people online and people that I respect and everything like that. And yeah, just taking it in has been wicked. But obviously, then I've been focusing on what's been happening next with the
Yeah.
pro show itself, with the posing side of things. So I'm not really like, yeah, I haven't really sat down and thought about it too much. It's kind of just been full steam ahead with everything else really. And then on the other side of things as well, I've been pretty ill, I'd say, for the last 3 weeks. So I think that's been the main focus is just trying to get over that really. So it's
Yeah.
been yeah, very up and down, but as a whole, mate, I'm absolutely buzzing that I'm a WNBF pro now. So yeah, can't
Awesome.
complain too much really.
Yeah, it is really awesome to see, man, because obviously I've followed your journey. I worked with you last year and then I've been following you for a while. So it's good to see someone like me who's maybe kind of close, I guess, like maybe a season or maybe a couple seasons away. And it's like, oh, you've been through that process and I've been obviously following your progress on Instagram and now YouTube. You've got your YouTube channel up and running. So it's super inspiring for me. And I was like, I need to get you on the podcast and we'll run through this season. Obviously you've been on before and we chatted about like how you got into stuff. So we'll miss all that and we'll just get
Yeah,
straight into your actual season and
cool.
the prep itself. So when did you start prep? It was like earlier this year, right? And it was kind of like a
Yeah.
50-50 whether or not you were going to actually do it.
I mean, to be honest, when I started quote unquote prep, it
Yeah.
wasn't really a prep, to be honest. It was more of a mini cut mini diet. Just because, yeah, I was in a state where my composition wasn't amazing. It wasn't too bad. It was more the appetite side of things. Lost the appetite. Training performance was getting worse. I was just feeling sluggish. So yeah, we just decided to go into a bit of a tidy up phase. Probably 8 to 9 weeks was the plan and then just see where we were from there. And then as we dieted down, we saw like I managed to retain a lot of the fullness that I'd obviously and muscularity that I'd built throughout the off season, and we were like, you know what, this is looking pretty good here. Maybe we should give it a go, give a prep a go for this year, even though that wasn't on the cards. And then AJ had a look at me. I believe it was 13, 12 weeks out from the first show. Um, and then he was happy. He was like, you know what? I think you'll be in the mix for a pro card this year if you decide to go for it. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I was mentally there. Like I was almost like treating everything like it was a prep anyway, in terms of how regimented I was. So I was just like, yeah, might as well just continue on the path we're going and go for the prep. So decided to send it, and then I don't know if you want to, I don't know, ask another question with
Yeah,
regards to
yeah,
what
yeah.
goes on from there.
Yeah, so I guess yeah, let's we'll continue on. We'll get to the Dubai show, but
Yeah,
did you feel like because you went kind of like you were like not sure we're gonna prep, did the mini cut, did you
yeah.
feel the same amount of like did you feel a lot of pressure or was that kind of pressure taken off a bit because you were just like right, we're gonna go for it? And I know you kept things a little quieter on the social media side of
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
so how were you kind of feeling that on the build up to the shows?
Initially, it was, yeah, it wasn't too much pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, in my head, like I really wanted to go for the pro card, but because I didn't put it out there, like what my first show I was doing, I kind of just said I was doing supernaturals, initially, and
Yeah.
that was the main show I was going for anyway. So yeah, so it did take away some of the pressure. Obviously, I do. naturally put the pressure on myself anyway to
Sure.
do really well. And obviously, this has been the goal I've set for myself for the next time I decided to prep. So it was there, like
Yeah.
it was absolutely there, the pressure to achieve that goal. But I think because I wasn't putting it out there, like what show I'm doing, it kind of reduced it a little bit. But yeah, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be lame and cheesy, but pressure is a privilege, as Mr.
It
Seaborn would
is. Yeah.
say. So yeah, you've got to embrace it really. It's
Yeah.
part of it. If you don't learn to, you're not going to be a top athlete because at the highest level, there is always going to be pressure there.
Pressure
So
on.
yeah, mate, you just got to learn to embrace it really. And I think this has been one of the biggest like developments with me over the years and over the preps is in the past, even though like maybe I've done well in shows, I've kind of let that pressure consume me a bit. And
Yeah.
it's been I've almost like dreaded competing and dreaded like almost not enjoyed the show days, just because of the pressure I put on myself to achieve a certain result. But I think as I've progressed, you'll just learn like the main thing is just bringing your best, and you can't control what other people look like, and that's all you can do really. So you might not achieve your goal, but I tried not to stress too much about that and just
Yeah.
focus on bringing my best. And I think I managed it a lot better this year than I did in previous years. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Like, I mean, just watching your video, if any of the listeners haven't watched Kez's video on the Dubai show, it's great just to kind of show you the insights of what goes on, I guess the day before and the lead up to the show. So I think you just dealt with that pressure really, really well. And that's obviously at a pro level what you need to do as well, because there's like just the small details make a huge difference, and everyone's
Yeah,
the same caliber of athlete. So what's going to maybe give you an edge is like your ability to deal with some things like pressure and the mental side
yeah,
of the game as well. So, yeah, it's awesome to see. So, yeah, the Dubai show, man. I watched that and I was like, because that was the one that I did last year.
yeah,
And yeah, what a first show, obviously. So,
yeah,
do you want to talk through that, like maybe the
yeah,
peak, build up to it and
yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, so in terms of the peak, so what we found previously worked well for me was doing sort of a few not depletion days but lower carb days going into the show, and then we would just do like either one or two high days um followed by a low day. So it'd be like Thursday and Friday high days, or maybe just Friday high day followed by a Saturday low day just to wash off some of the excess fluid that would bring me in tight. So that's what we went for. It was a bit of a weird one because I don't know if it was the travel or what it was, but my body was being a bit weird and inconsistent during the
Yeah,
peak week, and I was worrying a little bit in terms of not like, oh, am I going to get my pro card, but am I going to bring my physique in
best
as
physique. Yeah,
well? Yeah, that's the main thing I was worrying
yeah,
about because it was just a bit inconsistent with the travel and everything just being not the norm really. So we flew on the Thursday to
yeah.
Dubai. So yeah, just got there pretty late. Had some issues sourcing some certain foods, so that was a bit of a nightmare.
Sorry
Ended up
about
staying up
your
quite.
fiasco with the bagels.
Yeah, mate. Apparently bagels aren't really a thing in Dubai.
Yeah.
So they're not very common. So we had to specially sourced them and then ended up paying for them twice because the delivery driver didn't deliver them. So yeah, that was a bit annoying. So yeah, mate. So that was the first day. Then the following day was more just that was I think it was the Friday. So that was the high day.
Yeah.
So that was yeah. So I had about four. It wasn't crazy high. It was like 450 carb, I think.
Sure.
But for me, I don't need to load on that much food, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Just got a session in Benus, which is pretty
Oh yeah.
cool.
I missed
Not my favorite gym, but yeah.
I was glad you said that because that was a place I wanted to train, and then I didn't end up training there. But when you said, "Oh, it wasn't the best," I'm like, "Oh, at least I haven't missed out on it."
No, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
it's it's quite expensive,
Yeah.
and in terms of the kit, it's got a crazy amount there, but it's
Yeah.
like you don't even need that much kit, and it's too big. It's like a maze, and it's like just not. the good vibe to training, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then the following day we were at what was it? Dungeon Gym.
Dungeon. Yeah, yeah.
That was amazing. That
Yeah.
like if anyone goes to Dubai, I'd highly recommend to go to Dungeon.
Go there.
It's a bit out of the way, but it's 100% worth it. It's a lot smaller. Selection of kit's amazing. The environment, the people there are amazing, and yeah, it's really, really cool. So AJ had a look at me on that day as well. I was bursting full on that day. I think there was a
Yeah.
reel that I put up of the day before the show. Um, that did pretty well on Instagram, and that
Yeah.
was like the fullest I've ever looked. I personally really liked the look, but for the stage, it was too full, so it wasn't. My midsection wasn't there completely, so we had the lower day for that day. That brought me in pretty tight for the show day. So the show day itself, I was almost too flat in the morning. I
Yeah.
noticed. So it wasn't too bad. So with the class itself, it was relatively early. So I think I was on at about midday.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. So it gave us some time to fill up a little bit. But yeah, so with the class itself, went all right to be fair. It was a weird order they did it in. So they did all the physique classes, and then they did the judging. Sorry, the results afterwards. So it's
Yeah.
like they do all the judging and then they do all the results. So it's kind
Okay.
of like I go off
Good.
stage and I haven't even got my result yet. So I'm getting people sending me photos and showing me, oh, you look like this. I'm like, okay. So in my head, I kind of knew that I'd won even
Yeah.
before I'd got the result because I'd seen the pictures and it was like, yeah, I've probably won this. So it was a weird one because I then got the result. Um, and then it was a bit of an anticlimax with the class because I kind of in my head knew I was going to win anyway.
Yeah.
So that was cool. In terms of the look, I was happy with it. I was flat though. I was pretty, especially in my back. I found it hard to like lock in and open up fully in the back pose and just a bit flat. But I was tight, so we knew we needed to fill up a little bit. So what I typically do on show days is limit water a bit more because we're very conscious of my midsection.
Yeah.
Not we don't cut it, but we just have less.
Less. Yeah.
But then AJ was like, you know what, just don't limit your water. Obviously, don't chug it, but just drink to thirst, basically,
Yeah.
for the overall. And that was well, it was my best look of the whole season for that overall lineup, and I think I needed to bring it because it was a really, really good standard. So yeah, so it was that was really cool, like because some of the guys who didn't even get the pro cards were very good in that overall lineup.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they'd put us through quite a few rounds. And then it was a sticky one because they called the first call out and I think there were six people initially in the first call out of 12.
Yeah.
And they didn't even call my name. I'm like, oh no, it's not happening here.
Yeah.
And then they call a seventh number out and it's my number. So I was like, okay, it's on. But immediately I was on the outside and I'm like, right, I've got to fight for this now. Like I've got to get myself on the inside. And quite quickly they were moving me closer to the center with every
Center.
single round. So I think by the end, I was pretty much like in the middle next to the guy who eventually won the overall.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of had an idea I was in the mix. Like in my head, I wasn't sure completely. So when they call out, I think they called out the top four. The top four did get the pro cards. I'd have been happy with any of them top four. If I got fourth, I'd have been delighted.
Yeah.
They called fourth, and it wasn't me. And I was like, oh, it's getting less the chances now. They called third. When they called third, I was like, there's no chance. I've got it now. So when they called second and it was me, like, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube video, like my like just
Yes.
elation and that sense
Yeah.
of relief and yeah, that was the best feeling I think of my life so far for sure.
Yeah.
So yes, mate, like absolutely unreal, buzzing, and then obviously enjoyed myself. Like just spoke to family and AJ, and then after that, I was like, okay, let's go. I was so excited to go on to the pro show after that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But there was no pressure for me with that pro show. I was like, you know what, just do my best and see how I do really. So I was so excited to get up there. And then obviously then we were then pumping up. I was feeling good. But then I was like, I hit a pause and then I just felt my ab cramp like
Yeah.
uncontrollably. And I've had issues with this with training before. And I did that thing normally where you just sort of stretch out, so you sort of expand your rib cage and stretch out just to try and get rid of the cramp. And then
Yeah.
my lats started cramping, and then it was like my whole body was just cramping up like crazy. I'm like, something isn't right here.
Yeah.
So AJ gave me loads of water, loads of salt to the point where my midsection was completely bloated. I was full, I looked full, but my midsection was gone and I was still cramping. So we literally pulled the plug like right as they were going on stage because I wanted to do the show regardless. But it's a shame because it would have looked really bad if I got on that stage and started cramping. So I
Yeah.
thought it was probably a better decision not to do that for my pro debut, I suppose.
That's
But overall, mate, I was really happy with obviously how the day went because my
yeah.
goal was to get the pro card and we got it, mate. So
You looked
absolutely
unbelievable, man. Yeah.
unbelievable day, mate.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was watching that. I can't remember. I was away that day, and I saw on like Instagram result come through, and I hadn't seen the build up previously because I think I
Yeah,
was away hiking or something, so
yeah, yeah,
I didn't get any signal. So when I
yeah.
got signal, I hadn't been following your build up, and I just saw you'd won the pro card. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
So I had to go back and like follow your bit of your journey. But yeah, incredible, mate. Really, really cool to see. I bet you like you'd been living that moment in your head of winning the pro card for a long time, and it's just like waiting to see how that feels. And I'm the same. Like I live that moment in my head. What will it feel like to maybe eventually get a pro card? So yeah, what
yeah,
can you
yeah, mate.
explain that feeling, or is it just like no words, just elation?
Mate, I mean, I've been trying to like envision it. You know, when like you're in the depths of prep and you're like in the gym and
Yeah,
everything just hurts and you're like, I need something to take me through this set of whatever it is. And when I'm doing that set, I'm envisioning myself with like every rep of a lateral raise or every rep of a press is I envisage me with like on that overall stage with like a big full chest. And
yeah,
that's like what's pushing me through to like really like put my
yeah.
all into every set and then envisaging myself on the cardio sessions like getting that pro card just to push me through it.
That's
So
what I
like
felt
I've
too.
been trying to envisage this moment for like for months now.
Yeah,
And it's still you can't prepare yourself for like how it
uh,
feels because it's just like you can't put it into words. It's
yeah,
there's so many things like words that you can use in terms of I don't know, relief, elation, I don't know, self-gratification, everything. There's so many emotions that go into it, but
just so overwhelming. I imagine
yeah,
it's like all the emotions coming
yeah,
one
de
basically. So
definitely, mate. And
yeah,
it's I think it's different depending on what your journey's been like because this has been a long one for me. I mean, you'd know, like,
yeah, yeah,
it hasn't been an overnight thing. There's some athletes who will just literally get the pro card on the first go, and
yeah,
it you can tell like it's really cool and they deserve it, but I don't think they sometimes realize what it means when they've just done it straight away. They just
yeah.
and when they're used to success, they win every single show. It's kind of like, oh, all right, that's pretty cool. But when you've kind of been through the journey where you've like lost shows, and it's taken numerous years to get to this point, it for me it just means a bit more.
I
And
totally
it's
agree. Yeah,
yeah,
totally agree. Because
absolutely.
you can tell on your face when you want it, like
Yeah,
how much that meant to you. And as you say,
yeah.
like there will be a lot of these guys, like because there's freaks out there who are coming into the sport and they'll do the season, win their pro card in one season. It's just not the same look on the face almost when you see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's incredible for those guys because obviously they've got the
yeah,
incredible physiques, but it's just I think it's almost more inspiring for people following you. You've seen kind of the journey, like the highs, the lows, losses, wins for you to win it. It's just, it's incredible.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And it's like I love seeing stories like that as well. I want
Yeah,
that for the people like you, people I'm friends with.
yeah, yeah,
I truly believe like that could be you next time.
yeah, yeah,
I said I'm not going to guarantee it, but I think you have the potential to do that, and that would be so cool. Like
yeah.
seeing you like go through all this, be like very close on numerous occasions, and then eventually get it. Like it's really inspiring to see, and like it just gives that motivation to people to just keep going, and regardless of like if you don't achieve a goal a certain time, just keep pushing, and you'll
Yeah.
get to it eventually if you work hard enough for long enough, really.
Exactly, yeah. I think a lot of people even like said to me even after the last season, it's like, oh, are you gonna, go again? I'm like, why wouldn't I? I'm like so close. And it's not about the pro card, it's just like about the improvements that are happening
Yeah,
every single season. I'm like,
yeah,
why wouldn't I? Like I just get more self-belief every season I go through. So it's
yeah,
like, and I believe
definitely.
in that goal even more going into next season. So and then
Yeah,
people like yourself are a huge inspiration to see that you've kind of gone through it. Um, but yeah, it's just incredible, mate. So um,
thank you.
let's move on to the. Oh, actually, before we do that, I want to just kind of go through the cramping issues that you had, and I know that's
Yeah,
a bit of a negative note from what we've been
let's
already
go.
speaking
Yeah.
about. But do you know? You were mentioning you weren't sure why, but there've been periods throughout your prep that you're experiencing it. Did you and AJ come to any conclusions after the show and put a bit of a solution or a strategy in place going forward?
So there were a few things with the ab cramps specifically. So that is something that I have during my training, not even just during prep. So
Yeah,
if I'm doing like a weighted crunch, there is one sort of ab, I suppose,
yeah,
that will cramp up at times. So this has happened like quite consistently for months, but it hadn't happened for a while. So I thought, you know what, it's going to be fine. It's never happened during posing, funnily enough. It's only happened during training. So
training, yeah.
that's a first. There was another thing as well. So during the peak week, we used Peak Max,
Yeah,
um, which is a natural diuretic supplement.
yeah, step, yeah.
And I think, well, we were happy with
Wait,
what it
yeah,
brought because honestly, I think that is what rectified my look on the week because I was quite watery earlier on in the week. And as soon as that was introduced, my midsection just shrunk. It got dry, tight, everything.
yeah,
But it was part of the reason I think why I was a bit flat on the class.
yeah,
But obviously, I'd rather be flat and tight than full and watery. So it is what it is. But then I think because during the day I'd pumped up that many times, I think I pumped up 4 times in the end. And it was yeah, just a long day. I think my body was just like, nah, it didn't want to take it anymore, and ended up just cramping like crazy. So I think a multitude of factors. Maybe it was a hotter climate environment, all that sort of thing as well in Dubai. Maybe that might have played a part in it. But yeah, in terms of rectifying it, we scrapped the Peak Max for the Supernaturals just because we knew we were going to be on late, so it'd be quite a similar time. Well, it was actually a lot later,
yeah,
but yeah, so I think we didn't want to encounter a similar issue because that would have been game over if that happened for the Supernaturals. So that was the biggest change, and then we limited water like less, even the day before and then the day of. We encountered different issues, which I'm sure discuss at the Supernaturals, but at least we didn't cramp up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's yeah. It's funny, like you're mentioning all the things about peak max because I've used natural diuretics before, but um, they seem to work, but like in times I've just struggled to be able to get a pump, and maybe that can also show in like cramps as well. And then I
yeah,
have massive fluid retention issues after using
yeah,
like natural diuretics.
yeah.
So like have one like off-plan meal the night of show night or whatever. Next day, like my ankles will be super swollen and stuff, just with
Yeah.
water retention. And I've had it was back in 2021. I maybe had like an off-plan meal and a cookie, and the next day was like 4 or 5 kilos heavier. Uh,
Jeez.
and the day after, all that weight came straight back off.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was crazy. So I don't know if it's the natural diuretics or what, but
I've
uh,
heard, no, I have heard that from other people as well.
yeah,
It's not that bad with me, but I have heard that exact same thing with other
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know what it could be, but times I
yeah,
haven't really used them as much, it hasn't been the same. But
yeah,
anyway, enough of me. Let's go on to the WNBF Supernaturals next. So that was that like 2, 3 weeks later after the
yeah. 2 weeks later. Yeah.
so in between that time, did you just come back to like a baseline, or did you fight for any more conditioning? What was the kind
Yeah.
of goal in between?
Yeah, yes, yeah. So we did actually dig for more condition. So the plan was to be leaner, so then we could actually bring more fullness,
Yeah,
in terms of like carving up a bit more aggressively. So that was the initial plan. So I did lose a fair amount. I think I was is a weird one because of what happened. My body weight was just all over the place. I would
fluctuate. Yeah,
estimate I probably lost about 3 pounds, I'd say,
yeah,
of actual body weight. That isn't water, and food volume. So probably about 3 pounds between the shows. So yeah, so all was going well for like the week after, I'd say. But then, yeah, about a week out, then got ill. So I could just feel
yeah,
myself starting to get ill. I'm like, oh, please not now, please not now, please
yeah.
not happen. And then the following day, my voice had just completely gone. I'm like, this is bad. This is bad now because and then my body weight shot up, look a lot more watery. Obviously AJ is a really good coach, and he was just doing my best to like calm me down, thinking, you know what, this is as soon as we recover from this illness, your physique is going to come back to life. So just don't stress about it too much. Obviously, we had to make changes to the peak, because the plan initially was to run a linear load this time.
Right.
And so with the reduced body fat, we could then be a bit less aggressive and then just have a bit more of a steady amount of fullness. But as we were doing the linear load over a couple of days, I was ill. My body just wasn't processing the carbs the same way, and I was just looking watery and bloated. So we had to go back to baseline to pull me back down again. So we did that for a couple of days. I was getting progressively worse with the illness as well. And then we had to do some kind of load. So we did like a moderate load on the Friday. Um, so yeah, so that did fill me up a little bit for the Saturday. And then I started to feel a little bit better on the Saturday. So and my physique was like pretty tight to be fair, and I was pretty happy. I was super flat in comparison to how I was in Dubai on Saturday, but I was happy with how tight I was on this on that particular day. So I was feeling all right to be fair
Right.
going into the show day. But then show day arrived and I just felt really ill, like really really ill on
I
that
rem
day.
I remember
Um,
speaking to you and I was like,
yeah.
yeah, you're not 100%. We're
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so my physique, it was weird because it was bizarre. Like 1 minute I would like look at myself, I'm like, you know what, it's on here. Like I look really good, I look tight, I look full. And then an hour later I'd look, I'm like, I'm completely spilled or I'm completely flat. So my physique was just changing so quickly. Yeah, even within an hour. And then I think obviously just the whole environment, how busy everything was, the thumping music, being around loads of people. I think I was just getting more and more ill as the day went on. I was losing my voice more because you know how it is with these shows, like you speak to people. I love it. Like I love like having chats with people. I'm not one of them who just like has the headphones in and ignores everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like speaking to people, but I think I could just feel my voice going more and more throughout the day. So I had to just do my best to chill out a bit as the day progressed. But I could just yeah, I could feel myself getting worse. I was getting a fever. Temperature was going up and down quite quickly. So yeah, it was a funny one. And then I tried pausing. I think it was when I was supposed to be on. So I think it was like 7, 8 p.m. And I actually looked pretty decent. I took shots around then. I'm like, you know what? This is pretty decent. If I stepped on stage like this, I'll be happy. But then it dragged on till after midnight, and
Yeah.
the look wasn't good by that point. So I didn't really look at myself backstage because I didn't want to. I was just kind of just pumping up and just did my thing. So I didn't really see what I looked like, but I could tell on stage I just felt weird hitting the poses. Yeah, I felt really hot, like really, really hot. Um, I got through the poses okay, but I think towards the end I could just feel like the life going out of my physique as well. So yeah, so it wasn't amazing. I enjoyed myself in terms of being up there with the people like the my friends and family, the audience, and the judges. It was really cool experience. But in terms of the look itself, yeah, it wasn't what I wanted to bring. We brought a decent amount of fullness. I'm surprised by how full I was, but yeah, just completely spilled, I would say, in terms of the look. So that's the only shame really is I'd have liked to have brought my best look to a pro stage.
So this was it here.
Yeah,
For you,
yeah,
the one watching, but yeah, I would say your fullness across your top line and your arms and your delt. I mean, that's definitely
yeah,
strength for you, is your
yeah,
delts and give
yeah,
it shape to your physique. Um,
yeah,
but maybe yeah, as you were saying, maybe like a little bit washed, like watery, because
yeah.
maybe of the illness more than
Yeah.
anything as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a tricky one. Like at times I was super flat, so I was really dry. It was
Yeah,
changing so quickly my body. So I was super dry, super tight, but flat. And at this point I was watery, and it's kind of like I know my chest is a weak point anyway, but when I'm like spilled and there's a film over it, it just doesn't pop as much as well. So it actually looks flatter, my chest, when I'm a bit watery. So yeah, it was a tricky one. Obviously, the midsection, I need that to be dry to be, yeah, to look good because it'll look smaller and it looks sharper as well when I am dry. So yeah, mate. So it's one of them where I'm not too mad with the look, to be fair, considering everything that happened. It's not wasn't horrendous, but I know I'm capable of more, and I know I showed better at Dubai. So
yeah,
yeah,
that
it is
was
what it is. It's a learning lesson, mate. And yeah, I'm glad I did the show. It was a really cool experience as a whole, and was wicked to step on stage against like some of the best natty pro athletes in Europe, I suppose.
crazy lineup. I
Yeah,
agree, mate. I totally agree. I think you presented the best physique, with the situation you had with being ill and then also going on super late at night. But yeah, you looked like a bit sharper in Dubai, and yeah, it was just a shame. Like I felt a bit sorry, like because it was your pro debut going on super late at night. I know the WNBF UK are doing things next year to kind of rectify that, so that's great. But it was just
yeah,
I think they just kind of outgrew the venue a little bit, and
yeah,
a little bit like over 240 competitors on the day. It was crazy. So I was really wanting to watch you that day, but it was just yeah, it was too late.
yeah,
So I had to get back up the road.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that was yeah, and crazy lineup as well. Like
Very good.
yeah,
Very
very good
good.
lineup.
I mean, to be fair, mate, I'm not even gonna complain because I wouldn't have been in the running even if I was at my best with my current physique and muscularity. I wouldn't have been in the running to win that. Like, and I think, well, obviously we'll discuss the future plans, but like I know my muscularity isn't on the level of some of those top guys, and some of the weaknesses in my physique, it still would have been exposed by those guys anyway. So yeah, mate, I'm not complaining, mate. Like that, those were like seriously good athletes, and
Yeah,
I'd have loved to just seeing how I stacked up if I was at my best. I think if I'm going to critically analyze, maybe I'd have snagged a top five. Maybe I don't think I'd have been David in fourth, because he's crazy. But yeah, the guy in fifth, he's really good. But
yeah.
maybe I'd have battled with him. But yeah, those were all amazing. Even some of the guys who didn't place, as well as me, really good. All of them were absolutely
All of them.
amazing, mate.
It was
I
crazy to
did
see.
notice.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did notice they were very big on muscularity with the judging. So the more muscular guys were the ones that were placing well, which is interesting because I feel like in Dubai it was more about shape, interestingly.
yeah.
So it just goes to show, like, depending on what lineup you go on, what show, what set of judges um you present yourself in front of, you might have a completely different result. So I think it's just like, yeah, if you not don't get the placing that you want, don't just sulk and give up and throw your toys out the pram. Like it's one of them where you just keep going because the winner, David or David, the French guy, he did Dubai, the pro show,
Yeah.
and he didn't place.
Oh
He
wow.
didn't
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
He didn't place in the pro
Amazing.
show. Um, and I was like, I don't really see that. I think he should place, to be honest, because
Yeah.
he's got everything. He's got good shape. He's got good posing. He's got good condition, muscularity. He's got a lot, and I just didn't really see. I thought he should have placed a little bit better. And then yeah, shows up to the UK show and wins it. So yeah, just goes
Crazy.
to show
Oh, it's
if you just keep going, and he's done so many shows this year. I think he's done like 10 shows or something,
crazy.
and he's doing even more. And I think he's going to do the Natty Olympia as well. I think he's competing in Germany, so he's done a crazy amount of shows this year, and yeah, he loves it. So yeah, it just goes to show, keep going, and yeah, you'll get your rewards eventually.
Yeah, I think especially for men's physique, it's like probably out of all the well, obviously you've got classic physique as well, which is very, very subjective. But
Yeah,
if you do if you do like a few different shows as a men's physique athlete, like you're gonna get judges which like slightly different men's physique look,
yeah,
you know. So definitely do more shows and maybe with different federations as well. But
definitely,
hence,
definitely. I
hence your
mean,
goal and stuff. Obviously, like if your goal is
yeah.
like WNBF Pro Card, still if you go to 4 or 5 multiple different WNBF shows, there's going to be difference in terms of the judging and what they actually want
Yeah,
between show to show.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would have done more if I didn't get ill. I
Yeah,
think that's a big reason why I kind of cut it. I think obviously at the top level, I know I need more to be competitive anyway, but I think I'd have done a one or two more if I didn't get as ill as I got, which
I
is a
agree.
shame. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I achieved my main goal, so I'm happy as a whole.
I could have seen you in that top 5 there. You know, as you say, if you were at your best. Funny,
Yeah,
the guy that came fifth, he came a place ahead of me last year.
I remember.
Yeah,
I
it
remember
was
him
like one
very well.
point between me and he
Yeah,
has made a lot. Like I looked at his physique between
yeah,
last year and this year, and significant changes he's made
yeah,
in the space
yeah.
of a year. And I'm like, he's obviously done the work between that year. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I had a chat with him before. He's a really nice guy as
he's
well.
lovely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And he did, I think he came fifth as well at the Spain show.
yeah,
Sorry, is it France or Spain? No, it was Spain the
Spain.
following
Yeah,
week.
did Spain. Yeah,
So he's consistently getting high placings in these very competitive shows.
yeah.
So yeah, he's really good, really, really good. And I think it's good for you, like to show
It's
you
yeah,
you were
yeah.
very close to him last year. And now he's doing well at pro shows. So it shows that, you know what, you're not too far off the pro standard of,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, where you were last year. It's not too far off at all, mate. So definitely encouraging for you.
It was encouraging to see that. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, actually, he's in the mix in the pro shows, and he won his pro card. So,
Yeah.
like, okay, we're kind of there. So yeah, absolutely. So that was it after WNBF UK. Had you planned out some other shows like possibly the Worlds or anything, or was it just very much those two and then see what we're gonna do after that?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So that was it, just to do them two, and then see how I did. So obviously, like the dream would have been to do Worlds.
yeah,
So that would have been if I was competitive at the UK show. So if I did maybe get like a top, maybe three to five, I'd have like highly considered doing the Worlds, and then maybe like a PCA show in between. If I wasn't competitive at the WNBF, I'd have maybe liked to have still done like a PCA show afterwards,
yeah,
just for the experience and to see how I'd do in the show. And obviously from a business perspective as well, it's good to compete in different federations and get your name out there.
yeah.
So that'd have been cool. But I think we were just all like, my health was getting worse and worse. So it wouldn't have been. And now, knowing how I feel now, it probably was the right
Smart
decision because
move. Yeah.
I'm still not recovered from the
Yeah.
illness fully. So yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, it is what it is. It's part of it really. So yeah,
Yeah, your health comes first, like first
yeah,
and foremost, and that will, if you can get your health back, then it's going to set the tone for this off season. Whereas if you were to run yourself completely into the
yeah,
ground, doing more hours and not getting much return from it, then
yeah,
you're going to move into your off season on a bad note. Whereas you finished on a really good note.
yeah.
So yeah, I would totally, you've made the right decision there for sure. So moving into your off season now, what are the future plans? What are you looking to bring up in the off season? What tweaks are you going to make for next time around?
Yeah, so the well, we knew this anyway. The two weakest points of my physique
Yeah,
are my chest, muscularity as a whole, and then the midsection detail. So I think we clearly saw I was exposed on stage in that pro lineup. The guys had like full striated chests, um, like the guys who were placing well, and it was pretty nuts. And then mine was just like a lot flatter than theirs. In terms of the shape and the my arms and delts are stacked up pretty well, I thought.
yeah, I would.
Yeah, and my back wasn't too bad. I still think we still want to bring up my back for sure. Um, but yeah, the big one is my chest and then the midsection detail because the guys, yeah, who were placing well had really, really dug out detailed abs. I think that's an absolute must for men's physique now. It's not enough just to have a small waist. If you don't have the detail in your abs, you're not going to do as well. And you're seeing it in all levels, even with the Olympia. Like you see the top two, you've got Ryan Terry and Ali Bilal, who have just
Yeah,
placed top two, and look at their midsections are
laser sharp.
absolutely peeled.
Yeah,
So it's so important, and so we're gonna hammer it with in terms of the training side of things. So we're gonna just assess a few things with the chest training in terms of like the execution of them, exercise selection, volume. So yeah, obviously we put a lot of focus into it anyway, but we're just gonna have to go back to the drawing board and assess things. And then with the ab side of things, yeah, just very consistent ab training. And then looking more at like because what I'd do previously is just like tag them on at the end of the session. I would do them, but
yeah,
I'd tag them on at the end. So it's kind of like my energy is sat by that point. So kind of what you're putting into it isn't going to be the same as if it was fresh.
yeah.
So now we're placing abs at the beginning of the session. When my physique is fresh and I can really like put my all into it and fully take them to failure and actually just get more out of the exercises. So I'm going to be training abs pretty much every other day. Um, so with like a combination of like crunch movements and then some leg raise movements as well, just to like work the upper and middle and lower abs as well.
Awesome.
Um, so yeah, so I'd say that those are the main things. Obviously, build muscularity as a whole, as my back as well. I don't think my arms and delts need that much to be honest. So the volume for them isn't going to be crazy high at all because I think genetically they're just very round and full. So yeah, as I said, off season. So I think we'll probably look at getting back on stage in 2026.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking as well. So
that'd be cool.
that
That'd be
would be
cool as
cool. Yeah,
prepping at the same time.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That would be cool.
Yeah.
If we'll see what happens, but if I was to win a pro card, it'd be cool to share a stage with you. So
Oh, mate, that'd be amazing. And
yeah,
well, do you think you'll do the Dubai show again?
I'm thinking about I want to just do WNBF shows. If
Yeah,
the PCA are running like the
naturals.
natural shows, the qualifiers, I'd like to do one of them as well.
Yeah, yeah,
But obviously, I want to put the focus on WNBF. So,
yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But that will be very exciting to kind of do
It
the
will
same
be.
shows.
Absolutely, mate.
So yeah, no, I'm excited for that. But yeah, I can. It sounds like you've got a very good plan in terms of like the running of show day itself. I mean, your posing is. top level because you're the best, probably the best posing men's physique posing coach in the UK at the moment, I would say.
I appreciate that, mate.
Um,
Thank you very much.
so that is spot on. Was there any little bits that you picked up from the show days that you're like, oh, I could maybe implement that next time around?
Yeah, so I would say with my WNBF UAE show, the biggest thing I wasn't happy about, it was more in the class was my back post. I
Right.
think when I'm flat, I really struggle with my hand on hip to keep that lat fully open
Yeah.
just because the flatness. And I was pretty annoyed at how my back poses looked in that one. And I think I noticed in the overall lineup when I was a bit fuller, it looked a lot better that back pose. So I was a lot happier with it. I think in the pro show in the UK, I think it was similar. So at times, I didn't fully open up the left lat, which I was a bit annoyed about, but at other times it was open. So I know it looks better than what it did on stage because I know when I did my posing practice and when I fully get my lat spread and lock them in, the V tape is a lot more dramatic. So that's probably the biggest one in terms of room for improvement. I was fairly happy, all things considered, with my other poses, considering how my physique looked. I feel like I brought like the best out of what I had at that particular moment in time with the peak. I think I still need to play around with the second side pose that I have because I have an imbalance with my pec. So my right pec is it's a lot flatter than my right, and if I overly flare my lat on the right side to bring that elbow forward, it just flattens off the chest completely, and it
Yeah.
really like exposes my weak pec in that second side pose in comparison to other people. So I just need to adjust that a little bit just to keep that chest. Well, obviously I need to build muscle there, but I need to adjust the way I hit the pose just to keep a little bit more fullness in that
Coolness. Yeah.
pec. As a whole, I was really happy with the posing. As I said, like I put a lot into the practice with regards to like literally just doing round after round, holding the poses because I know within the WNBF they do work you really hard, and they do like round after round, and if they're not sure about what the results are going to be, they'll keep going. They'll
Yeah.
keep putting you
Yeah.
through rounds. So it's why with every posing client, like a lot of the focus of the practice is it's just going through rounds and holding the poses. It's not practicing crazy fancy transitions. Like they don't really care about that too much. It's more how what you look like in the pose and can you maintain that throughout. And to be fair, I was pretty happy with how I did in both shows of that.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Like, that's a big part. Yeah, I noticed that the Supernaturals, the amount of rounds I was going through. It's my last show of the season last year. And because I'd been through the other shows, because I've worked with you and I've done a lot of practice, my endurance was really good.
Yeah.
So I wasn't out of breath by the end of it, but you could see some of the other guys who were getting a bit more gassed, and that might have actually
Yeah.
helped to give me a little bit more of a nod, as well.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so that was because my first show I was maybe coming off a little bit at Dubai. I was like, oh, I'm struggling a bit, but by
Yeah.
the time I got to the end of the season, so it really does pay off to work on that and your endurance because as soon as you're off in your midsection, I've seen guys. I was obviously at the Supernaturals and watched the short men's physique class. Saw guys coming off their midsection. They were actually getting placed to the outside.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, the judges can only judge what they see. It's not
exactly. Yeah,
like, oh, well, I think this physique looks like this when he's at his best, therefore I'm gonna place
place
him
them. Yeah,
here. It's not how it works. Like they judge what they see on the day, and if they're putting you through round, and on that final round, your physique doesn't look as good as the next guy because you're off your midsection, then it's tough luck. You should pose better. You should learn how to keep tight on your abs throughout. It's
yeah.
brutal, but it's the nature of it.
Exactly. Awesome. Awesome, Kez. On that note, do you want to just plug a bit of what you do, your posing service and where can the listeners kind of go and find you as well?
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, I am a men's physique posing coach, so I absolutely love it. And yeah, I help people at all levels. So whether you're a first-time competitor, whether you're a seasoned athlete, pro, anything like that, I feel like there is absolutely room for improvement in posing with everyone, and it will level you up as an athlete for sure. So yeah, so in terms of where you can find me, so my personal Instagram is kesbutt underscore, and then my posing is Kesthetics Posing. So I'm sure you'll link it.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then
link them
I've
to the
also,
posts. So
yeah, and then I've also just recently started a YouTube channel as well. So loads of show day content is being released on that. I'm actually going to release the show day video for the Supernaturals very soon in the coming days, which
yeah,
should be wicked. And then yeah, as we progress through the off season, I'm going to be documenting what I'm doing there as well. So training videos, like what I'm doing with nutrition. I'll do collab videos. I need to get one organized with you, Chris, as well, because
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get something sorted.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll and yeah, maybe food challenges, but AJ will kill me if I do one of them. So maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe not. But
I'm totally like, oh, that doesn't even come across my mind at the moment. Obviously, I'm right in the middle of my off season, so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Nah, mate, as I said, it's a weird one because on prep, my food focus wasn't there at all because I was so
yeah,
focused on the goal. But then when you come off it and then you don't have that end goal, it's almost like your food focus goes up a little bit. So
it does. Yeah,
yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that.
I
Like,
haven't gone off the rails yet, to be fair, so it hasn't been too bad.
yeah, I had a few like down. I had usually for me, I know a lot of people say, oh, I have like a day off. For me, I'm like, I'll take a couple of weeks, and I'm not going to take the piss, but I'll just
Yeah.
enjoy a bit more food and a bit
Yeah.
of like away from the typical
Yeah.
prep routine and structure of a prep, and then I'll be more motivated to get into an off season after that.
Yeah.
That's
As
how
long
I
as you
do
have
it.
some kind of self-restraint and you don't go crazy, it doesn't it won't harm you at all.
Exactly, yeah. Your
Yeah,
body's
definitely.
crying out for a little bit body fat anyway at the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's like as I feel it's something you learn to get better through preps maybe as well because like last
Yeah.
season was really quite good. I thought my post show how is this obviously the illness and stuff, but has the post show phase been okay? Like because you've been on such a high coming off
Yeah, yeah.
the new goals.
Mentally, it's been really good.
Yeah,
Like I've been so motivated to really like push myself to make the improvement. So I've been like locked in with my training, with ticking off all the boxes, variables, and everything like that. I've had one off plan a week, so nothing crazy with the food side of things. Yeah, I have a bit more food focus, but nothing crazy. So yeah, mate, the only thing is the illness. Like it's just
yeah.
really annoying and it's been like holding me back because I'm wanting to really get back into training and I've gone back to full volume this week, but to be honest, I'm absolutely battered, like physically. So AJ's just told me today that we're gonna go be going back to devolume next week because I need my body just
More
needs to
rest.
recover from this illness really. So that's the only, yeah, I suppose negative thing really is just trying to overcome that. But mentally, mate, I feel good. I feel motivated. Obviously, I've set myself new goals in the gym with business. So yeah, so I'm feeling good, mate. It's just I think I'll feel great once this illness recovers.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just like coming off the back of a season, it's just like set yourself that next goal. And
Yeah,
I think if you're competing not just for the winning and like you love the sport and you get a lot of the process, you're not going to get those real extreme lows at the end of a prep.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you might feel a little bit like I think that's natural, but if you are getting like such an extreme low from it, like have a bit of an evaluation in your head of why that might be the case and
yeah,
you've been in prep for the right reasons. And if it's not for you, then maybe choose a different route. But I know for yourself, like that, this is a big part of your life, and it's your business, and you get so much out of the process. You love it. You can tell it's your passion as well. So,
yeah, yeah. I think another thing as well is because I'm obviously doing the posing and I'm going to the shows and I'm almost sort of vicariously living through my posing clients as well.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like living out my prep throughout them now. So I'm still buzzing off like
wasn't it?
how
Yeah.
they're doing and their results, and maybe the post-show blues will kick in once the season's like fully ended, and then I'll become depressed after
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it. I
yeah,
love it as well. Like, I haven't been
yeah,
eating, but I've had a couple clients and then I've been
yeah,
shows and I just love being in it. And as I say,
yeah, yeah,
when the season's ended, you're just anticipating the next one. So yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Anyway, Kez, I think that's a nice note to finish it on.
Yeah,
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. Once again. And yeah, thanks guys for listening. If you've got any questions for Kez, I'll link everything down below so you can drop him a message if you're interested in posing with Kez. Yeah, go down below. But yeah, thanks once again, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode.